Hello everyone, it's Johnny Catrue, and today I listened to the brand new album from BadBadNotGood called Talk Memory. BadBadNotGood are a jazz fusion band from Canada, and I first heard them back in 2011 when they were getting a lot of attention for the hip-hop covers they were doing in their jazz fusion style. Some covers of MF Doom instrumentals in particular got my attention, I think. But I really particularly liked their version of Earl by 𝐿𝐻𝐻𝐿 on their second album. But you know, it felt particularly exciting when in 2014 they came out with their third album and it was made up entirely of original tunes. But the original numbers continued their style of hip-hop infused jazz fusion. I really like that album. It has a cool, dark atmosphere and a rough charm about it. And you know, it took them from being a great band but somewhat of a novelty into something more original and compelling. The year after that, they made a collaborative album with Ghostface Killah from Wu-Tang Clan, which was a really cool surprise.
Yo, cleanse me, clean me of my sour soul and vicious.
Their fourth album that came out in 2016 continued their explorations into their own style, but to somewhat less memorable results for me. Still, it was a decent album. But you know, it's been 5 years since then now, and finally we have a new album from the band. So I think we all go into this new album excited to see how the years might have affected their sound. Their original keyboard player, Matthew Tavares, has left the band, and now they have this guy named Leland Whitty who plays a bit of everything. And this album includes some pretty surprising guest appearances. So do me a favor and click the like button on this video and let's get into the album. The album opens with the first single they put out for it called Signal from the Noise. And when I first heard this song a few weeks back when they first put it out, it immediately got me excited about the band again after not hearing them for quite a few years. It opens with a couple of subtle yet cinematic themes that set up a great atmosphere. But it's the instrumental intensity that they build up with this track that eventually leaves the strongest impression. And this is mostly carried for me by the incredible playing on a fuzzed out electric bass. Amazing playing and with so much feeling. And this track builds in a way that you're more likely to hear in the world of post-rock or the more aggressive side of prog rock like King Crimson's Red. And this all seems very far away from the more hip-hop influenced sounds and grooves of their earlier work. It's a very strong start and a bold new direction for the band. It seems Sam Shepard, aka Floating Points, had some hand in the production of this track and even has a writing credit on it. This crossover makes more sense than you might think because Floating Points had an incredible LP in 2015 called 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐴 that had some incredible jazz fusion playing on it. And in some ways this does feel like a follow-up to that material. The second track is called Unfolding, and this one has a very nice surprise in the appearance of Laraaji, who is best known for his work on Brian Eno's Ambient 3, Day of Radiance. And he brings his beautiful signature sound of his zither to this track. This is a very serene and beautiful track. It's the perfect complement to the drama and intensity of the first. Some lovely saxophone playing on this. And I especially like it when the sax and the keyboard are playing in unison, this fast arpeggio. Sounds great. Track 3 is called City of Mirrors, and this one is the first of a few collaborations on this album with legendary Brazilian musician Arthur Verocai. He has a much-loved self-titled album from 1972, which after hearing this stuff I really want to check out myself. His contribution to this album comes in the form of lush string arrangements. They sound wonderful, and next to the hard jazz of the band, it creates a really exciting cinematic atmosphere. But instead of the tension we heard on the first track, it's more this romantic beauty. The groove and the drum sound itself on this track connects back to their older work, I think, which is cool. Because other than that, so far the music on this album has been quite a departure for the band. Luckily, it's a departure into some pretty exciting new territory. Track 4 was the second single put out for the album. It again features Arthur Verocai and it's called Beside April. This one also features Kareem Riggins on percussion, and his presence is felt very strongly in the groove. And of course, with the strings of Arthur Verocai soaring over the top, sounds great. I hadn't heard this one beforehand, I only heard the first single before listening to the album, but I think this one is quite obviously more representative of the album as a whole, as those beautiful string arrangements cover several of the tracks here. The chords in this song I think are especially beautiful though, and probably my favourite use of that combination. Towards the end of the track, there are some amazing lead lines played by electric guitar and violin, and it's the first appearance of a very apparent Mahavishnu orchestra influence that I think works really well. Track 5 is called Love Proceeding. It again features the strings of Arthur Verocai, and this one was released as a last-minute single just before the album dropped. And once again, it is absolutely beautiful. I love this mix of orchestral arrangements with jazz. It reminds me of the bit of third stream music that I've heard over the years, but Charles Mingus' Let My Children Hear Music especially comes to mind for me. But you know, this stuff has a groove all its own. It works really well, I think. Some really great playing by the whole band in this one, but I especially enjoyed the drums during the breakdown. Strangely, a song named Open Channels was seemingly left off this version of the album. They made it exclusive to the physical editions of the album, and since I'm listening to the digital one, I can't cover it. So the next song we have on this version is track 6, and it's called Timid, Intimidating. This track features a welcome return of that distorted bass guitar from the first track. Sounds brilliant, and we also get some really nice saxophone playing and even an unexpected bit of flute. Some very beautiful moments here, although I do feel that the album loses a bit of the momentum that it had built up on previous tracks. It's pretty good, just not quite as exhilarating as some of the other tracks. Track 7 is simply a reprise of the main theme from Beside April. It's one of my favourite chord progressions on the album, so I'm glad to hear it. Although I'm not sure how effective it really is to reprise it at this point, and I don't think it does too much to recover the momentum of the album. Still, it doesn't matter too much because the album still ends really strongly with track 8, Talk Meaning. Almost a title track, not quite. This song features Terrace Martin on sax, who you might know from the incredible track he did with Denzel Curry last year, Pig Feet. We've also got a harp player named Brandee Younger, alongside Arthur Verocai again providing his string arrangements. And this song is a gorgeous spiritual jazz piece, more in the vein of Kamasi Washington's stuff on The Epic and Heaven on Earth. This song includes some beautiful themes, and they even build things up to a really intense climax. It sounds fantastic. The album closes out with the lush sounds of the harp fading away. This album was full of surprises. After hearing the first single, Signal from the Noise, I was expecting a more hard-edged, rock-influenced album from BadBadNotGood. And while that influence did pop up here and there, this was a much more varied album from the band than I was expecting. And the many featured collaborators really made a huge difference to the album's sound. Especially, of course, the string arrangements from Arthur Verocai, which gave the album so much of its gorgeous textures and atmospheres. Also, the compositions were mostly very memorable and often emotionally affecting. Each player on the album had an opportunity opportunity to shine and contribute something great. And it all adds up to what I think is probably the strongest album we've had from BadBadNotGood so far. And hopefully this is just the start of a wonderful new era for the band. So all the clips in this video of my first listen to the album are from my live stream over on Twitch. If you'd like to join me for more listening parties where we listen to albums in full, follow me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/JohnnyCouTrue. And if you've enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me with the link in the description to buy me a coffee. It really helps me to be able to keep making these videos, keep my channel going, so I really appreciate it. And thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take it easy.